Hi, I'm very glad to be part of the Virtual Math Festival this year. I will present on engaging youth with math through coding activities. I'm Christelle Scharf, and I'm one of the co-founders of mJangale. I will begin with presenting mJangale to give you some context. So mJangale is a coding school established in Senegal, and we target primary, middle, and high school youth. We deliver online, in-person, and hybrid courses, and the courses include mobile web development, Scratch, coding with Python, data science, and so on. Our methodology emphasizes in-house design curriculum and contextual and cultural relevance. Every course we teach has a project, so we are emphasizing also project-based learning. This talk is organized the following way. I will first define what is coding, then I will say why coding can be used to engage with math, and I will showcase 3 activities that we have: Scratch, Python, and P5.js coding, and I will then conclude the talk. Let's begin with what is coding, to give you some context. So coding is about providing instruction to a computer in a specific language. There are like lots of different coding languages, programming languages. You may have heard about Java, Python, JavaScript, and so on. So coding permits to develop technical skills, but it permits also to develop other skills like computational thinking, which is problem solving, analytical thinking, and also soft skills, entrepreneur mindset, creativity, teamwork. We could also cite other skills such as communication, empathy, logic, precision, and even digital literacy. Now, this talk is about math. So why math? Why coding to engage with math? First, computer science started as a branch of math. And I put on this slide 2 famous mathematicians, also known as computer scientists, Ada Lovelace and Alan Turing. So yes, coding permits to put math in practice. In coding, we need a lot of math skills: discrete math, linear algebra, Boolean algebra, probability and statistics, proofs, calculus. So here, if we teach coding, we can emphasize math. But in coding also, what is interesting is that we create something, we create a product, and we can experiment with this product. We can get feedback. In math, it's less about creating, experimenting, and getting feedback. Here, we make also math more concrete. We apply the math concept in context. We learn also in context. So the application of the skills is very important. I will now showcase 3 examples of 3 activities of the use of math in coding. The first one is Scratch. So Scratch is a block-based programming language that teaches coding to youth. It can be used in primary school, middle, and high school. The interest is that it permits to create games, and games are always like exciting to be created by young learners. So here is an example of a game that is written in Scratch. So you see the blocks, it looks like a puzzle, and it was created by a primary school learner in Senegal. And it permitted to emphasize time and movement concept of math. So the games that it corresponds to is this game. In fact, the one at the top left, The Race of Girls. That was the title that the student gave to this game. Another example, in Python. Python is a programming language that permits to build store, manipulate data, and it's used in the industry. We can build in Python very sophisticated programs. So here is an example of code written by a high school student, and it was to it emphasizes geometry and trigonometry. So more on trigonometry on the other projects that are here. So this also were things that were drawn using code and that needed some trigonometric skills. The last example is in p5.js. So p5.js is a JavaScript library. JavaScript is another language. And what is interesting with this language is that it permits to create interactive and visual code that is executed in the browser. So it's used a lot in art. It's used by artists, in fact, also. So here is some example of code written by a high school student. And the code corresponds, in fact, to the creation of this type of visual representation. And in fact, the project that they worked on was the creation of a wax fabric. And here also, it permitted to emphasize geometry and trigonometry. So as a conclusion, coding was presented as one possible option to engage youth with math. And what is very powerful in coding is that it's project-based learning, and it permits to put, in fact, math in context. I think that's what is very important. So I thank you very much for your attention, and have a happy math festival.